Greetings and welcome to Threek. This is the video where I teach you how to stab a fork into a deck of cards. Sorry. This trick was created in Las Vegas. I took it out to the Magic Castle to see if it would play for real people, and it did. Everybody liked it, and so I'm going to pass this on to you. It is one of the first practical card stabs. For those times when you're doing table magic, you can't throw a deck of cards in the air and get them everywhere and stab it with a sword. This is perfect for that. The reset is very quick, and so now I'm going to teach you how to make it. Let's go. So I'll show you the setup of what you're going to be working with here. You've got a top stock of cards right here, anywhere from 20 to whatever. It doesn't really matter. I mean, as long as it's as long as it's not 30 or 40, it would look awkward. You have a top stock of loose cards, and you have two gimmicks to this card. You have this top stock of about 15 cards, which has a hole running through the middle right here, and you have another stock here with either another open hole or a pressure plate, a reflect plate as I call it, and I will explain all of this, of course, to you, and I will show you how to make it. So I will let's do that now. I've chosen a different color deck of cards for contrast here. You grab a deck of cards and and a sharp utensil to cut the card with, and so here we go. So you grab your sharp utensil. I have an X-Acto blade. You want to get something to cut on, a cutting board of any kind, so you're not basically scratching marks into somebody else's table. And if you don't care about that and you want to be a rebel, go ahead. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the X-Acto blade and you're going to cut here where these three lines are on this card. There's three lines in these borders here. You don't have to be accurate by any stretch of the imagination. There's no need to whip out a ruler at this point. We'll get to that later. You're going to want to cut just all the way down, press hard so you don't have to go back and cut again, just through here, like this, all the way through. And like I said, you don't have to be accurate, there just has to be a hole. So you're going to cut through the lines, like I said, it doesn't matter where, all the way like that. And then you're going to pop out the middle like this, and you've got a card with a hole in it. And then you can do Paul Harris's linking cards if you want. Don't do that. Now you're going to want to do this to about 14 or 15 cards. So you end up with a whole bunch of those. And then you're going to get about 11 to 12 more cards and cut them in a different fashion, and I'll show you that. This one, you want to cut from the top of the heads of the angels in a square. And again, it doesn't have to be accurate. Nobody's going to be checking these or seeing them, or they shouldn't anyway. So you're going to want to cut a line right here. You're basically lobotomizing the angels right through their little brains right there. You can almost hear them scream, "Oh my God!" But if you start hearing voices, it's probably a bad sign, and you shouldn't be worrying about card tricks at that point. Also, when the voices in your head start texting you, it's also time to worry. So you cut those out like that. Pop the middle out right there. I did not cut deep enough on this one. I'll just fold it and it will tear like this. So this is, you want to cut cards like this, about 11 or 12 of these with a bigger hole. And you want to cut about 14 or 15 of these with a smaller hole. I'm not going to sit here and do all of them. We're just going to fast forward using the magic technology of fade out. So now you've managed to cut all of these, and you've cut all of these, and now you have a whole bunch of these little pieces, and you can make yourself a little cheap diminishing deck routine right here. It's like, oh look, here we go, I will make the cards smaller, there we go. I'm just kidding. Okay, so now you have all these cards here. I'm going to show you how to glue them together. There's actually some subtlety to this, which is kind of nice. We're going to set this packet aside for right now and get back to it. Grab some super glue. I do not endorse any specific product. This just happens to have what we have laying around at fearlessportraits.com, which is where we're filming this. So what's going to happen is, I would suggest when you take this and you start gluing these down, you want to do, if this makes any sense, an accordion kind of gluing. In this version right here, I'll show you what I did a little bit. Thumb these off. I actually accordion glued these right here, alternating every other corner. So this way you can actually riffle down as a subtlety during parts of the performance if you so choose. So these look loose. It's not a chunk block of cards. So as you can see, these alternate like that. And so I will I'll run through a little bit of that real quick. Again, I'm not going to sit here and make you watch the whole gluing process. But you're going to put glue in the corners here of the cards, right about there, right about there, like that. And now comes the tedious part of just gluing all these bad boys together. You want to line them up as best as possible, obviously, because otherwise that would be silly if they're all haphazard. And now you're going to want to glue the opposite corner from what you did before, like this. And you don't have to alternate every single corner. You can get creative. You can do a couple here, a couple there. It doesn't really matter as long as they're going to be loose and free. So when as you can see, these are accordion pleated now in spots like this. So we'll glue all these together and come right back. These have been glued together in this accordion type fold like this, and if for some reason you want a little extra security in certain spots, just fill in the glue here wherever you want into these spots here. That's fine. So this is actually the easiest one to do. Now we're going to add a double stick tape here to the edges of the border. You take some strips of double stick tape and you tape it down to the edges, one right here, one right here along this edge. So you get two long pieces here. It doesn't have to be a complete square. It just has to have a pretty good contact point right there. You put that one on there, and then that one on there. And what's going to happen is you will then take an indifferent card. This is one of only two cards that gets destroyed in this effect. So you take this and you place it on here. And what's going to happen is just for adhesion, you want to press here real hard and press here real hard, and now you have your chunk, your complete and utter chunk of cards, which is where you will impale the card through here. Okay. Now we're going to get to work on the second block. This one's a little more amusing and a little more time-consuming to make in some cases. You want to take an indifferent card, it doesn't really matter what it is, and you're going to start gluing these down onto here. And you don't want to do the accordion fold for this, and I'll explain why later. You're going to want to take your gel or glue or whatever, and the gel is nice because it doesn't spill everywhere like liquid does. You just want to take it and smear it along the four sides here like this, and then place this. You'll start out like this, placing this on top, just like that. And then you're going to do that for all the rest of these right here, which we're going to do right now. So now that we've done this is your second stack of, like I said, between 12 and 13 cards. Whatever you find works best for you. At some point you may want to add more, you may want to take away more. It just goes with experimenting. I'm going to show you this effect without the reflect plate. This is I'll show you how to do the handling without it first, and then I'll show you how to make it and do it with the reflect plate should you choose to want to go that extra mile. And so we're going to need to add one last card here on top to kind of mask this big chunk here. And this is a good idea to use the ruler for this. I want to have a straight edge all the way, starting on the border here. You've got these three lines along this border. You want to cut along the innermost line right there. And so we're going to do that right quick. Get a straight edge, get something sharp and pointy, and I'm going to hold this a little better because this is a slick surface, and I'm going to try not to cut through my fingers. Because while that would be funny to you guys, it would be detrimental to me. So we'll cut through this real quick. Maybe we'll speed this up in post. Alright, so now you've cut through the card right here, and if your perforations aren't perfect, you may have to go back over them again. You shouldn't need the ruler. It should just line up and it'll cut right through, just like this. Yep, this one needs to be, there we go, it comes right out just like that. So now we've got this fairly square hole right there, and you're going to want to glue this to the top of this, and you just run, like previously, you run your glue around the edge right here, squeeze a little bit out, just like that, and then put it on top, just like that. And there is your second piece all ready to go. And we will now get into the performance handling of Threek. As you saw in the performance, what happens is you have a card selected and signed, and this is your setup. You have a free stock here, sitting on top of your 15 with the one double stick taped to the top right here, and then you have your card with the recess right here. That is your setup. You have a card selected, and don't spread too far over, because they're going to be tempted to grab these, and you want to try to avoid that at all possible. So you spread out your cards, let one be selected, and while it is being signed, you shuffle the cards like this until you hit your top stock, and so you've shuffled all these loose cards to the bottom. You have the card signed, which I'm not going to do, and you have it replaced here on top. And now you are going to have to get this card on top of this. How do you do that, you ask? Well, I'll show you. You take and you lift up and thumb the card off, just like that. And now you can shouldn't mess with the cards. Now, what I like to do is I like to set the deck down and kind of spread the bottom cards so everything looks loose and fair. And at this point, you grab a fork. You can have your own, or you can pick one up right off the table if you're working at a restaurant. It's just fun to sometimes carry a fork around in your pocket. Makes people wonder why. So your setup now is you have this top stock, a loose card, this recess stock right here. And what's going to happen is you're going to take this fork and you're going to jam it really hard right through this card, through the next one, and into the recess, which is how it gets through their selected card. Different forks will work differently for you. This one it has been generously donated by the Magic Castle, and it's very sharp. It's very pointy. Some forks, like ones you get in your house, are very, very dull. If ones that buy it, like places like Walmart and places like that, aren't very sharp because they're afraid somebody's going to hurt themselves with them. You can also take these forks and you can take sandpaper or some sort of tool and make them sharper if you want. There's no need for it. So you're going to take the fork and you're going to jam it right through the middle. You want to hold the cards firmly. If you're holding them loose, this card, the force going through here can cause a double stick tape, if you've done it a number of times, cause the card to kind of let go and tilt in, which can affect the handling. So you got to be real careful about that. So keep a firm grip on it, but don't put your fingers like this, because that's a different trick. That's fork through thumb, and I haven't released that yet. So watch very carefully. We're going to take the fork right here, and you jam it in, push really hard. That way you know it goes through. And just stop for a second and let them admire this bizarre visual. Because you've just done something impossible. And you really want to push hard, like you're just forcing it through 20 or so cards. It's going all the way through, just like this. And now I like to lift up the deck and look at the card. Now, of course, you don't want to do this, because that would be bad. They would see this. So what I'll do is I will kind of necktie this, which means to kind of tilt it back towards yourself. So I will lift this, tilt this back as I look at the cards, set these down and spread these a little, just so there's loose cards here. And you look at the card and you say, "What was your card?" And they'll say blah, or they'll forget it, which is, always funny. But then you ask them what their name was, and they'll say, "Oh, my name is whatever," and you turn and you show that you have stabbed right to their card. And that's an amazing moment, because you've done two tricks. You've stabbed a fork through what appears to them to be half a deck of cards, and you've stopped right at their selected card right here. Now, I like to give this out as a souvenir, and obviously you can't just pull this off and hand it to them, because they see how it was done. So I'll tilt it back towards myself, and I'll pop the card off. Now, because this card is taped in place right here, it looks like all the cards are stabbed through because it's all very static. There's no loose cards, nothing falling off, and that's why the double stick tape works great here. And then you're going to want to hand this out to them, make some joke about signing it for them, not with your name, somebody else's. That's what I like to do. And then grasp firmly, remove the fork, and then take the cards back. Now you don't want to turn this stack over right here. You can just pick these up and lay this down on top like this, and put these away. There's a number of different ways to clean up at this point. You can pick up the stock here and close this on top. One thing you want to be careful of, and somebody actually mentioned this to me after one of the performances, was be careful not to really expose this to light or make sure your hand is kind of covering this, because it becomes obvious it's only one card, because you can see right through those fork holes right there, those forking holes. And so that is the basic handling of the effect. Now there are a number of different ways to get into the position you need to be. The one I already showed you, which is being here and thumbing it off over the hole right there. That's probably the easiest one. So right here, boom, very natural, looks very clean. If for some reason that's not your style, you can take the card and lift right here and just slide the card into the middle like that, and that looks very good as well. There's one more handling, but it really only works when you have the reflect plate in the spot here, so I will now show you how to make that. This is how to make the reflect plate version of the bottom gaff stock here. You want to, if for some reason you decide to make it, you need to pry this card off the top, like I did, like that. So go to the store and find yourself some shim metal. We here at Fearless Portraits are using Wonka Bottle Cap's little tiny lunchbox right here. They're $1 or $2 at most any store, and you just need to cut the top off right here and get a little piece of shim metal right here. Then you take this and you throw it away, and then somebody else will clean it up later because this isn't my house. So you have this piece of metal. You want to get a sponge ball of some sort. I have this one, which has been made into a Pac-Man. Okay, so you got your sponge, you got your metal, and now's a good time to find those pieces of card from the bigger frames that you threw on the floor earlier, and grab 2 of them to make something out of. Right here. So let's get started. You're going to want to take, a piece of metal right here and match it up to about the same size as this, or at least very, very close. Now we need to cut this a little smaller because otherwise it'll just get caught on here. So I'm going to cut this card slightly smaller, probably about halfway down, right above where these borders are, right here. Very, very close, maybe 1/8 of an inch from there. Again, this is not rocket surgery. We don't have to be extremely accurate because none of this will be seen. This just has to fit inside of here. Now, a side note is it has to be bigger than this hole right here, because this card is gonna be stopped right against this. And when it's resting up against there, you won't be able to see it very easily. I mean, there's a line, but not much of one. So now that you've got that, you can then kind of figure out where your plating should go on here, like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this piece of playing card to the metal piece of a shim right there. Hey. Try not to get glue all over my hands, right about there. All right. Now this metal is generally pretty thin and easy to cut with most scissors. Kitchen shears work great. They cut through almost anything. And don't let your wife catch you using them though, because they're supposed to be used for food and not metal. But I say whatever. So now trim up the piece of metal so it matches right there with your playing card. It's right there, best you can, right on the sides, like that. Perfect. So now you have a piece of card with a very hard back, like that. Now you're going to take your sponge ball, or whatever, and you're going to cut it up a little bit, just like this. By the way, you don't have to use red, you can use any color. for those of you, don't email me asking me if yellow is okay to use. Just use any color. It doesn't matter. So you cut through with a sponge ball, and you're going to want to cut a square piece here. About, I don't have exact dimensions for you, I'll just kind of show you here. Super Soft works really good, by the way, for this. Super Soft sponge. And I think this should be good right about here. You've got about 1 inch in length and maybe ½ an inch square. And you're going to make 2 of these and glue them down to the ends right here on your piece of metal, which I will now make another one right quick for us to use. There we go. 2 pieces of metal. Oops, that one needs to be straighter. There we go. Just like that. Actually, I think this one can be cut down just a little because it's got some thin edge here that I don't care for. Just like that. Okay, so now you can use super glue, you can use hot glue, you can use just about any glue to put these sponges on here. Hot glue and super glue love sponge. Don't ask me why, they just do. They get on like chocolate and peanut butter or white on rice or any other weird analogy you want to throw in there. So now you put your glue your sponges down like that, and there's your little squishy spot right there. I would suggest for this next part using the super glue and not the hot glue to glue this into place right here, and because the hot glue will seep through the pores of the sponge, grab onto it, and it pretty much renders it useless at that point. So you put a little bit of glue either on the sponge here, like I'm doing, like that, or you can put it down inside of the card itself. It doesn't really matter at all. So you want to put that right about there, and then push down. And don't push down too hard, or the glue will grab the sponge like it just did to me. Now you want to lay this down on top of the glue spots. Don't push down on the glue too hard, because if you push too hard, the glue will seep into the pores, and you can have an incident on your hands. So just push down a little bit and let the glue dry. This glue gel dries ridiculously fast. So you're now in a second going to glue this card back down into place, which is then going to give you this effect right here of a nice seamless looking card. Now if you do this without using the metal, the card will get marred up by stabbing it, and it could go through and you'd have to replace it, and that becomes a bit of an issue after a while. And eventually you will have to replace this, but I have found a better way and an easier way to keep you from having to replace this constantly. What you're going to do is you're going to cut a piece right here, similar to how you did for this window. You want to use a ruler to actually cut this piece right here, and you could actually just use the one that you used from here, but I have no clue what happened to it, so we're going to make a new one. Again, you want to use a ruler of some sort, or a straight edge, since we're not actually measuring anything. You just need to do it. You may want to trim it a little slightly smaller, so there won't be any issues of any kind of it hitting and blocking the area you need to be in here. So actually, in retrospect, I suppose I could just cut this with scissors. I forgot that we're not cutting a frame. So you want to cut along the inside third line of the border right there, just like that. And what you're going to do is you're going to double stick tape this card right here, line it up that piece right there on the thing. We're actually out of double stick tape, so I'm just going to glue it down. But you're going to want to double stick tape this right here. Nothing but professional quality for you folks. So now you've got this lined up on there with the double stick tape, and then this on top right here. Once you get this in place and glued down, which we'll do in a second, all you got to do to be replaced when these get all dented up real bad is just pry up this from the double stick tape and put another piece down. It'll be that easy. So let me glue this down real quick. Now, apparently, if you buy this gel glue, he'll use a whole tube of it going through here because I'm like squeezing the last little life out of this poor thing. So now you squeeze this down onto here, just like this. Just like that. There you go. This is your reflect plate version. Now, if you push down and there are gaps forming here in the block, you want to seal those up because that will cause a problem later for you when you perform this because it will, when you stab it, the displacement of the fork will end up pushing this down, and that becomes a huge problem. So now let's get into the handling for the handling for the card replacement with this. Blah blah blah, fade. Blah blah blah. Come back here. This is my handling for the reflect point. This is just another option of handling, if you will. You have a card selected and signed right here, and then while they're doing that, you cut. Your setup is the same. You've got the loose cards. You've got the top stock here with the the double stick taped card here, and you've got your reflect point or hollow spot here, but you don't want to use the hollow one here. You have a card selected right here. From the stack, and while they're signing it, you cut your reflect point piece to the top like that. All right, and now you have this. Now you want to be careful here. You don't. I mean, you can pretty much point this towards the audience. They're not paying attention. They're looking here this whole time. But if you turn your wrist kill here, you want to be careful that you can't see because you can see a hole through the bottom here. So you either want to cover that up or just keep it dead on to the audience. So you show this, and now you can cleanly lay this down just like that. And now you're going to cut this one, the one with the big hole and the card taped here at the top, like that. And now you just go into your regular bit with the fork, stab, come up, and let me grab the fork. I'll just do it. Here we go, just like this. And you push like that, and you come up, and there's the card right there. And now you don't have to wrist kill so much with this. You can be a little more free with this. You can kind of show this and come back with it. You don't have to be so paranoid about hiding this. And then you can hand them the card like before. You can, of course, do all the other handlings, as previously mentioned, where the card is placed on top, right here, and slid off. The big advantage to having this plating in here is when you pull the fork off of the deck from here, you don't have to wrist kill immediately. You don't have to be so paranoid about that because you can come up and flash this, and it looks very, very good, especially from a parlor or stand-up perspective. For the reset of this, it's very easy to do. The only two cards are destroyed. The one that you give them that has been stabbed, which they will keep. It's an interesting object. It's signed with their name, and you've stabbed it. And they'll tell people, he stabbed this card with a fork through half a deck of cards. It'll be a story forever and ever. So the reset is very simple. Because of the double stick tape here, you peel this up off of there like that, and then all you have to do is get another card that doesn't have forking holes in it, and you place it on top, just like this. You press down, you do your reset, and that's it. You're good to go. Then you put, except for you're going to put the top stock on top. That's obviously, but that's your only reset is just to peel that card and put another one down. So between tables, between sets, that is your reset and cleanup. And that makes it perfect for walk around in restaurants or nightclubs or anywhere else that needs to be repeated consistently with no muss, no fuss. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. And now some final closing thoughts. So that's the handling and construction of Threek. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any tips or tricks or come up with something of your own, let me know. I'd love to hear it. You can find me at smapdoodah.com. And I hope you guys enjoyed another forking card trick.